Snappy Clean Finish. Snappy. Just a little bit of turn under here. It's got clear elastic in it. Perhaps you've met the animal clear elastic. Perhaps you didn't like it. Perhaps you had rotten clear elastic. My friend Emma explained it to me. Clear elastic rots when it is exposed to light. How is clear elastic sold in the chain stores? In a blister pack hanging on the wall with the lights on all day, perhaps all night. And if you got the package that's been hanging at the front of the hook, this is probably what happened. It was rotten. So when you tried putting it in your garment, do you see? You could tear it. It breaks. You wouldn't want to use that in your garment. So if that was your experience with clear elastic, I've got news for you. You've already learned it. You let light, or you didn't, the store let light attack this, so it's rotten. The other thing with clear elastic is you always want to have it totally encased within the garment, because obviously it's plastic, and if your iron meets clear elastic, you're going to have a melted mess. So it's always going to be encased. But this is the secret. Now, I tested lots and lots of commercial products to find one that I liked. This is 3/8 of an inch wide, and it's got just hard enough of an edge on it. I love this one. I get it in 50-pound bags, and every time my husband and I go someplace, I'm sitting there measuring off 5 yards, a little more for the excess, to make sure you get 5 yards, and I sit there and I wrap it on these cards for you. And then we fold it up in this wrapper and put it in the package. So that's how you get Lastin clear elastic. Best thing since sliced bread. You're going to love it. If you take time to practice these techniques, perfect it for your machine, you also can have a snappy clean finish. Let's think back to quickly what we just learned. Remember about the clipping, the necklines? So do you see here, this one's already done. I just wanted to show this to you. Clipped. This can turn in for sleeveless, clipped, seam allowance pressed the opposite direction, and the Lastin there, zigzag to the seam allowance on the wrong side with this side of the Lastin right along your seam line. Then do you see what's going to happen is it's going to flip in, and then you are going to zigzag, twin needle, or cover hem. If you did the cover hem or the twin needle, it would then look like this. Snappy finish. Here it is on the back of this. Now, when you look at it, it looks a little bit puckered, but believe me, when that gets on my body, it stretches out, it hugs my body, and it's a beautiful back neckline finish. You're going to love Lastin. Now I'm going to actually show you how I actually do that little tug in front of the Lastin as I zigzag it on to the wrong side of the seam allowance for my snappy, clean neckline finish. You always want to get plenty of the Lastin behind the presser foot when you start. Now remember, we've got on the embroidery presser foot, so that has decreased the amount of pressure. I have not adjusted the pressure on my machine at all. I have set it on a great big fat wide long zigzag. So get started, and then it's just a very, very, very slight tug on that Lastin in front of the needle. That's it. Get yourself some straight pieces of fabric and practice. It would be well worth even an hour of your practice to perfect this technique. It's just a slight little tug. If you have to err on one side or the other, I'd say go for less tug rather than too much. And I'll make you a bet you will start with too much tug. You don't want too much tug. Just a little tug so that when you've put it on, it doesn't look this tugged. It doesn't look just flat, but instead it has just a slight little gather to it. Because then what's going to happen at the proper time in the sewing sequence, which in my patterns I've got all figured out for you, you're going to thread up with your twin needle, turn that in, and twin needle that edge, or use your cover hem machine. But I do that all in one step. I wouldn't do this last step until I'm actually doing the hems. So I only have to thread up my twin needle one time.